Okay, so we are in cultural diversity in the workplace. This is week 5, and we are kind of doing like a recap with this activity of the city, the textbook of market leader, international business. All right. So we are taking into account the 7 cultural dimensions of Hofstede: individuality, collectivism, power distance, proximity, physical proximity, okay? Long-term versus short-term orientation, a more masculine society, less masculine society, more equal parity or not, then uncertainty, avoidance. Certain cultures prefer to avoid open questions when things are not like ABC. They try to avoid that type of situations that are more abstract, okay, abstract situations. And then indulgence or restraint. In this sense, with Hofstede, we are talking about, okay, how are you going to take responsibility if you fail, or you are blaming others because of your failures and your success. So, first speaker is from Asia. Maybe Japan, maybe Korea, maybe China. It could be even India in a sense, okay? Typical. Number 2, typical American. And from the accent, I believe that is from the East Coast, maybe New York or New Jersey. Aggressive, direct, frank and direct executive manager. She could be that. And the third example was like Slavic speaker, right? Russia, maybe Poland, Czech Republic. So, if these 3 people, very different cultures, very different backgrounds, probably, and now we are seeing as well a difference in age, gender, cultural background, much more probably like ethnicity as well, religion, sexual orientation. Take into account all these factors that may affect. And if these people were not aware of the cultural differences, cultural shocks and misunderstandings are much more prone to arise. So, creating with surveys, audits, we are going to get to know that curve, a diversity adaptation curve. How many of our people in our company are from the innovators? What is the percentage? What is the percentage of the change agents? Those are the ones who are taking the risk, making changes. What about the skeptics? And what about the more traditionalists, okay? Much more conservative. They don't want to change. This is very good. And we can get to know more or less where we're standing if we take into account these 7 dimensions, okay? For instance, typical, I'm always talking about typical, okay? This guy from Japan, he's like more towards a collective society, power distance high, a lot of respect for the seniority, okay? And age as well, proximity high, they don't like to be that close, physically close. They go more towards the long term, much more traditional, much more masculine society. Uncertainty, avoidance, they try to avoid things that are abstract and not like fixed. And indulgence, okay, they do take responsibilities high, they do take. Another case would be USA, more individualistic, low power distance, low proximity, okay, short term, we do one thing, we do it right, frank, direct, and then we will see in the future if we make more business, but for now we do this short term. Less masculine, okay, more equality in salaries and different type of position in which women work at. Uncertainty, avoidance tends to be low, indulgence tends to be low. Slavic, we are going to see that now these countries are changing, like Takton was saying, right? Like, well, they used to be they used to be really collective. They used to go on the long-term orientation. Nowadays, it's
Short
what did
term?
you say? Like mix.
Hybrid.
It's hybrid, okay?
Trending.
It's changing. Still, collectivism, but they are much more individualistic. Individuals who are individualistic. The power distance still is high. The proximity still is high. You talk like that. You don't want to get too close. This long-term, short-term tends to be now changing into short-term. It's less masculine. Yes, it comes from the communist. Okay, it was like a communist society in which equality was totally right. And certainly avoidance, the high indulgence is like the low. Basically, I'm going to blame the government, blame others, right? So take that into account. The value of punctuality, sticking to the lines. Is it okay to be frank and direct? What type of communication do we use? Is it more towards formal communication, informal? Is it that important, loss of face in your culture? Yes or not? Or doesn't really matter? Okay.
We make mistakes.
Yes, in our culture it is okay, but in other culture it's not okay at all. And we have to take that into account. Try to be empathetic, as we were like, just to recap, try to be in the shoes of the other, all right, without losing your identity. This is, I really like, by the way, your final discussions, okay? Like we were talking about like diversity here in Hawaii, but in general terms as well in the workplace. How does it, what does it mean to you now after 5 weeks? And it's I was like comparing the first definition that we did, one activity that we did, remember? And it was like typing it down. And the final one, which is like much more extended, is more in depth. So thank you so much.